Whew. I feel like I'm obligated to say this at this point, but what's up? It's your boy Clan the Spurs fan, and I just want to get into our matchup tomorrow regarding the Pelicans, things regarding other teams. Nothing on the Spurs surprised me. So, yeah, I'm gonna go into it. Just give me 1 second. Just getting situated. Ugh. But yeah, I'm back. I'm gonna talk on my way home. I haven't really done this on YouTube, but I said screw it. Let's do it on YouTube. And I want to discuss. Crap. I'm just letting a few people. Yeah, I want to discuss our matchup regarding the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow, and my thoughts on it. My thoughts on what the score is going to be. My thoughts on Spurs fans right now. And yeah, let me get straight into it. So, I've been seeing a lot of comments regarding the San Antonio Spurs going against Toronto Raptors. Many Spurs fans, YouTube Live is terrible. It just keeps going out. But a lot of Spurs fans believe that the San Antonio Spurs are going to get killed, that we're going to get annihilated, that we're not going to be able to touch Kawhi Leonard and Marc Gasol. And I just got to say this. What the hell is up with Spurs fans just giving up on their team all of a sudden? And I wouldn't be talking about this if it weren't just a few people. What's up, bro? What's up, Lobo? And I wouldn't be saying this if it was just a few people. But it is an abundant amount of people that are going online, that are giving out their opinions, that are saying that the San Antonio Spurs aren't going to do anything. Again, I don't understand Spurs fans right now. Yes, it is true that we've had our struggles. It is true that we're not playing our best right now. But then when you flat out just say that the San Antonio Spurs are going to lose by 20, like what are you basing that on? Anybody that I don't want to use one of those. What am I trying to say? I don't want to be one of those people that just say that, oh, you don't know basketball if you say that the Spurs are going to lose. But I will say this. Everything about this game should be in the Spurs' favor. And I expect Toronto Raptors fans to say the Spurs are going to lose. I expect other NBA fans to say the Spurs are going to lose this game. I'm not saying that we're going to win. I'm not saying that we're going to lose. But what I am saying is it's in our favor. DeMar DeRozan is going to get a lot of love. I guarantee you that they're going to have a tribute at the beginning. And it's not going to end up being one of those tributes like Kawhi Leonard had, where Kawhi Leonard got a tribute and it made it worse. I guarantee you DeMar DeRozan's tribute is going to be genuine, and the fans are going to love it. Toronto fans, I've talked to many Toronto fans. Even though a lot of them are happy to have Kawhi, they still believe he's a rental. They're not crazy about Kawhi. And a lot of them feel like, hey, it's not guaranteed that we win a championship right now. But if we had DeMar DeRozan, we would have kept our superstar. So they're not that crazy about Kawhi Leonard to begin with. They're going to cheer on DeMar DeRozan because they know DeMar DeRozan did no wrong. They're not going to be like the San Antonio Spurs crowd. Everything about this game is going to be in our favor. I don't believe that the fans are going to be too hyped. I believe that the fans, if anything, going to be on DeMar DeRozan's side. I don't see us going in a direction where we just get killed by the Toronto Raptors. I don't think Popovich is going to allow that to happen. I don't think DeMar DeRozan is going to allow that to happen. These guys, and I'm saying this just based off what I've seen. I'm not saying this based off of, I got some information on it. I'm just saying based on last season and how everybody reacted to Kawhi Leonard, I guarantee you that this team can't stand Kawhi Leonard. They are not going to allow Toronto Raptors to murder them. Honestly, we haven't, like maybe earlier in the season, but the games that I've watched, we haven't really been getting killed by any teams. I just don't see where people are basing their opinions on this and where Spurs fans are coming from on this when you say that the San Antonio Spurs aren't going to do anything or they're going to lose by 20, 25. I don't get it. And I don't like it. Honestly, I don't like it. And I understand, being objective. I do. I understand it. But at the same time, guys, everything is in our favor. Yes, we haven't played well, but these are the type of games that wake up the Spurs. We're going off of a break. They're going to come into this game hype. And the Toronto Raptors are still trying to implement Marc Gasol. Even though Marc Gasol looks great, they're still trying to implement him. There's no reason that the Spurs shouldn't win this game. And there's definitely no reason for us to lose by 20 or 25 points. DeMar's emotions going to mess up his game. Well, dude, did DeMar DeRozan's emotions mess him up in the first game against Toronto? That was the most emotional game for everybody in the season. This season, that was the best game of the season. That was the most hyped game of the season. Was the first game where he went against the Raptors at home. I don't think that his emotions going to do anything. He arguably had his greatest performance in his career this season against the Toronto Raptors. I don't see this being any different. Dude had a triple-double. He never even had a triple-double in his career. I don't see that happening. And I want to say that, hey, you got a point, but I don't know what you're basing that off of. Like when you say that DeMar DeRozan is going to get too emotional, I don't know what you're basing that off of, because honestly, he has not shown that this season. I was worried about his emotions in the first game, but he already beat their ass once. What's to stop him from beating their ass again? I don't think he's going to get all emotional and mushy. I mean, you got to keep in mind, man, this is a guy. Yes, he had his mishaps in the playoffs. We've had Spurs players have mishaps in the playoffs. Dude is from Compton. That's pretty rough. He grew up in Compton. This isn't a guy that's just going to be so emotionally unstable. Like honestly, he's probably the most relatable NBA player, and he's one of the most laid-back NBA players, especially out of superstars. He's not going to get too emotional. I mean, and these guys in the NBA are so talented that even the super emotional ones still come out fine. Kevin Durant is extremely emotional, but he's so talented that it kind of outweighs any of his emotions, and he goes out and he kills it. So I don't see it. He's going to do fine. There was something else I wanted to address. I'm trying to think. I'm just going to throw this out here, and then we can get back on the subject. I'm just going to throw this out here. Please, if you're on here, go ahead and like it. And tomorrow night, this is what I'm planning on doing, because I should be free. I'm going to be watching the game. You already know your boy going to be watching the game. But I should be free. And I think for the first time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my laptop. And I don't know if I'll be able to set up the mic. That would be nice if I could set up a mic. But I'm definitely going to set up my laptop, and I'm going to stream my entire reaction. Thanks for the likes, y'all. I'm going to stream my reaction to the game. And I guess after the game, I can take those clips and make it into a little montage of the moments in it. So whether we lose or win, I just want my emotions out there. I want my reactions out there. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, but let's see. What else can we address here? Because that's one thing. Like a lot of people saying that we're just going to get blown out, which I don't agree with, and I don't understand it whatsoever. Okay, so keys. Just think about keys of defeating the Raptors. I have not thought this through. I have not looked at statistics whatsoever, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do it right off the dome on keys on how we can beat the Toronto Raptors. Number one, you're going to have to out-hustle them. They're extremely, extremely tough defensive team. So you're going to have to out-hustle them for sure. A guy like Kawhi, here's the thing with Kawhi. I always felt like this when it comes to Kawhi, and it's not taking anything away from him because he's a phenomenal talent. And I was one to say that he was the best player in the NBA when he was on the Spurs squad. So I want to throw that out there. But I do believe that Kawhi Leonard's one of those players that absolutely needed a Popovich. And the reason being is because Popovich has a way of putting guys in a perfect situation, putting you in great situations to help you win, to display your greatest attributes. You know what I mean? To make your attributes look even greater. And I feel like without that pop there, Kawhi is still a phenomenal defensive player. You can't take that away from him whatsoever. But I believe that his offense, I I don't think that his offense is going to hold up versus us. Now we can see, but I'm pretty sure the Spurs are going to play extremely good defense. And I'm pretty sure they're going to play really tough on him. And when you double Kawhi, he's going to be in trouble. The thing about it is, you know, you're going to have to make other people on Toronto beat. Yeah. Anyway, it's tough to double team him because he had a lot of shooters around him. I feel like if he go into this situation versus or in this situation, you know, when we're going against Toronto Raptors, I believe all you got to do really is just double him. I think if you double Kawhi, you're putting really good position. So double Kawhi Leonard. You might not even have to, honestly, because if Derek White plays, then he's only gotten better over the season. He might lock Kawhi Leonard down, honestly. You said Derek White is back. Now, do you have any validity to that? Because I know that earlier today he was listed as probable with that heel, and I know that LaMarcus Aldridge was also listed as probable with the illness. But me personally, I'm like 99% sure that LA is going to play. With Derek White, I guess that's kind of up in the air, but if they say the man is probable, then he should be good. I mean, he had a lot of rest. I mean, he wasn't on the rodeo road trip yet, which is 4 games. And then we had the All-Star break, which felt like forever. By the way, I didn't watch the All-Star break because I don't watch it. I don't know what it is, man, but it irritates me. But that's, I guess, discussion for another day. But I do not like the All-Star. I do not watch All-Star weekend. I always find it lame. But yeah, Derek White. Yeah, that's another key. You put in Derek White, you lock down Kawhi. Honestly, guys, you could probably put him on Kawhi. I mean, honestly, you just need to play good defense, good solid defense on Kawhi. That's all. Now I'll tell you one thing. Now this is of just why I'm over the last few weeks. I am not hype about going against Siakam. I kind of would have wished that we could have got him in the trade. That was one guy that I was shooting for, or I wanted us to try and get also. But I'm afraid of him. I mean, he's a big guy, but then he's versatile, so he's quick. Scoring the paint, which is our weakness. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. So I am a little afraid of him. But other than that, I think if the Spurs play solid team ball, it's going to be another emotionally charged game. I don't expect anybody on the Spurs to really get booed. Toronto fans are Toronto fans are happy where they're at, but at the same time, I think a lot of them do miss DeMar DeRozan. So yeah, I'm not that afraid of this matchup. I'm not shaking over it, if you feel me. And I want to know what you guys think. You know, what you feel like is going to happen. But I don't know. I just want to jump on here because I haven't really uploaded much. And also, I saw a lot of comments and people sending questions, sending comments my way, just saying how Toronto's going to beat the Spurs and, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying that they will, or I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying that if anyone should win, it still should be the Spurs. It's in our favor. So I don't understand why you wouldn't see that, or why you can't see that. So, but yeah, I guess Patty, Brand, Lonnie. Let me say one more thing. And this isn't really related to this game in particular. This is just kind of me just babbling almost. But one thing I do want to say in regard to our team right now, one thing that I'm disappointed in, but I also feel like it could end up being an X factor, is the development of Lonnie Walker. And I really do wish that he could get more minutes. I understand that when he went against the Warriors, he had a horrific game. I don't know how I feel about them throwing him in the fire like they did. But he seems like a tough guy, and I really hope that he gets the minutes that he'll need to be successful. Because honestly, he might be our X factor. Lonnie Walker is an extremely talented player, and a lot of us have been, yelling and raving over this. And one thing that all Spurs fans have said at least once this season is that we really need a shooter. We really need a third guy to go with DeMar. Rudy is an excellent third guy, but at the same time, we all know in certain situations it was a third guy, and I think the only person that will be in that big three, or being that third guy out of the big three, would be Lonnie Walker. The only one on the team that's long enough, that's fast enough, that's talented enough, that could be that solid third guy. I really believe he's going to be a superstar. So I really hope that he get some more minutes. I really thought by this time he will be in the rotation, but it's a little muddy, and I don't even know if he'll play tomorrow. But what happens? I'm not afraid of Toronto, like some of you Spurs fans. I don't understand y'all. I'm a believer that if you whoop their ass once, you can whoop their ass again. There's very few teams that I fear in the NBA. Very few. Warriors are a tough one. Maybe, I don't know. Nuggets are pretty tough, but I don't really fear many teams in the NBA. Right now, I'm actually, it's funny because I'm actually just staying on just so you guys can leave comments or whatever you want to say. It's really hard for me to read them while I'm driving because I don't want to put this on the stand right now. Might end up looking kind of weird, but I guess I could. We really need a small forward. Yeah. It's like this. As far as when we're talking about, now we just talking. When it comes to you guys saying that, and it's not just you, it's like plenty of people that say that the Spurs need another small forward. And it's like, okay, I mean, I hear you. That would be nice, but who in the NBA do you just grab that you can put at that small forward spot necessarily? You know what I mean? Like, Rudy Gay is an efficient, or he can be an efficient small forward. Rose can be an efficient small forward. But the thing is, when people say that we need a perimeter defender, Spurs did all these things in the offseason. That's the thing. The Spurs operate well in the offseason. And what they did in the offseason was they said, we need another small forward, and we need a guy that can defend. They got Dante Cunningham. They said, we need another center coming off the bench. Got Jakob Poeltl. We need defense off the bench. Jakob Poeltl. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to sit here and talk about everything that the Spurs need. I think the main thing that we're lacking is just a third guy to go with the big three, because in today's NBA, if you want to win a championship, you need three efficient players at least. At least three main guys that's going to be efficient. And And I guess we've always had that anyway. I mean, the Spurs have always had three guys. Especially, I mean, our championship years, for the most part, we've had three guys. Maybe not so much with the Duncan and Robinson era, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, Manu, Tony, and Duncan. We've usually had it, but I don't know. I feel like the Spurs did a lot in the offseason, and a lot of things that we were asking the Spurs to do, I think they're not, or they didn't move to do them because they did it in the offseason. And they're very high on analytics. They're very high on what matchups work, what they're most successful with, who plays the best defense on the court together. And the Spurs have elected to go with their shooters. They elected to go a little small. And honestly, you can't really argue with them. Sometimes, though, when in the future, talent is talent. And, if this is the best defender, he's the best defender. And sometimes you're just going to have to go with your feeling rather than analytics. Because if you remember last season, the season where Kawhi Leonard quit on everybody, they were playing Kyle Anderson the entire season. He was starting the entire season. And then once we got to the playoffs, and we lost against the Golden State Warriors, game one, then the Spurs said, all right, screw it. We're going to go ahead and start Rudy Gay. Everyone knew Rudy Gay should have started, but the Spurs still elected to go with analytics. You know what I mean? I feel like that might have been the same occasion when they sat down Tim Duncan on the Ray Allen shot. I feel like maybe they knew the analytics of these situations and what was best for the situation on paper, and they went with it. And they do it often. And I can't really get, judgmental, because, hell, yes, there's a few times that there's been mishaps. There's a few times where we lost that it bit us in the butt, but nothing's perfect. And honestly, we got 5 championships out of it. We got, 20 years of excellence. It's hard for me to sit here and say, no, don't look at analytics, go with your feelings, but eventually you're going to have to anyway. Marcus Morris and free agency. Who did he just sign with? Oh, you said Marcus Morris. You ain't talking about Markieff. I didn't know he was a free agent next season. That whole team looked like they're breaking up. So hey, why not? That's what I'm saying. But that's off season. You know what I mean? That's off season. That's an off season move, and that's the type of moves the Spurs like to have, because they don't like to give up draft picks when they develop these players so well. Look at Brent Forbes. He's undrafted and everything, but you know what I mean. They like to develop players. They don't like to give a lot away. They like to build upon what they have while keeping their picks and keeping their players and keeping their core, and they don't make emotional decisions. They're very systematic in the way that they do things. So yeah, but when we talk about what the Spurs need, or they need to go do this, they need to go do that, just realize that this is a small market team. It's tough for us anyway to get superstars. It's tough for us to even win championships when we do. Often, you got to keep all this stuff in mind. I think a referee just got caught the other day about he was rigging games. I don't know if it was in the 90s or what, but he was rigging playoff games or something like that. This stuff happens probably more often than we think. And these refs don't like the San Antonio Spurs to win. I believe it was against who was it against? It might have against the Clippers. It was against the Clippers. And even those in that series, they screwed us over. They don't like the Spurs winning. And because just ratings. I mean, people aren't crazy about the Spurs, and they don't like us winning. The only way that the San Antonio Spurs win is if they have a very nice, close-knit, tough, efficient, developed team. If they have that, we have a good chance of winning, because you have to not only beat your opponent, but when you're the Spurs and you're a small market team and you don't have a whole bunch of fans, a huge fan base, you got to methodically win. You got to beat the refs, and you got to beat your opponent. So You got to keep that in mind. So when we start saying that this is what the Spurs need to do, Spurs need to do this, Spurs need to do that, Spurs need to do this, Spurs need to do that, I'm not one to judge what the Spurs need or not need to do, because it's going to already be tough for us to win a championship. And certain moves that you guys suggested, I didn't necessarily think that equal championship. I mean, when you say that we need to get Markieff Morris, when somebody said we need to get Markieff Morris, I didn't think that that meant, okay, that brings us over the top. I think that what you do is you develop these guys and get them playing efficiently, because honestly, there are a few occasions in this season where this looked like a championship team. This looked like a team that was virtually unstoppable. I don't know what happened, but there's always a small kickback, and hopefully we went through our struggles after playing so well, and maybe, you know, this is our rebound game tomorrow night. Because I look at this team also, and like I said, we're going through a kickback, and we've played excellent this season on occasion. Think about it, y'all. DeMar DeRozan got his triple-double, his very first triple-double with the San Antonio Spurs against the Toronto Raptors, in which we annihilated. That looked like a championship team. The Spurs went into double overtime, I think. Was it double overtime? With the OKC Thunder, in which LA had his career high. There's some highlights in this season. We went against the Los Angeles Lakers, went 3-1 against them, in which the last game, Davis Bertans went the fuck off, and Jakob Poeltl went the fuck off. And that looked like a championship team. This is a tough team, guys. And any other team that had the pieces that the Spurs had would not have been able to have this much success right now. Now, don't get me wrong, the Spurs do piss me off when they don't execute defense correctly, don't execute in general correctly. I think that they kind of got over their heads. I think that they kind of, not over their heads, but kind of got a little cocky, because they feel as if they can shoot lights out, which they can, but they feel like they can shoot so lights out so well that, you know, at the end of the season or at the end of the game, that they can just come alive and go ahead and win. And they can't do that. The only thing that the Spurs need to do is play like they played against the Los Angeles Lakers. Play like you played against OKC. Play like you played against the Toronto Raptors. That's a championship team. Play like you played when you were beating teams by 30 points. That's what you need to do. If you can do that, you can beat anybody. This is a championship team at their peak. And I'll say it again. If Lonnie Walker can get implemented, we're real dangerous. We really need Lonnie Walker to be able to earn his minutes. I think that he screwed up. I think he screwed up himself just a little bit with the Lakers game. But we really need Lonnie Walker to be able to get going. We really do. But yeah. What was I saying? But yeah. I just think that this team has the potential, has the capability of becoming or being a championship team. And I'm not just saying that where it's like, oh, you know, I'm just saying it because I'm a Spurs. No, I'm very honest when it comes to all my teams. I'm also a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'll be the first to tell you, screw them. I'll be the first to come on here and say that they're trash. I'll be the first to say that I don't like the organization and what they're doing. I don't appreciate the things that they're doing. I mean, you're making Kellen Moore your offensive coordinator. That franchise is screwed up. And I love my Cowboys, but I'll be quick to say how crappy they are. So there's no difference between my Cowboys and my Spurs in which I can sit here and be honest. This is my true feelings. I'm not getting on here being a biased Spurs fan, just like the Cowboys. I'm not. You can be, you know what? Being a fan, you're going to have some natural biases. But I'm telling you, I'm not being biased when it comes to Spurs. I'm really not. I'm being completely honest with myself. That's just how I feel. And I feel like this is a championship team when they play to their full ability. You look at this team, and let's just take every single player and let's say they're playing at their height. DeMar DeRozan, excellent playmaker, excellent shooter. And another thing about DeMar DeRozan too that pissed me off is because he can play defense. And I know a lot of people say, no, he can't. No. I've seen how many occasions in this season where he made huge defensive plays. He played defense when he wanted to play defense. But let's say that DeMar DeRozan at his height, okay, excellent shooter. LA, you can't stop him. Bryn Forbes, excellent three-point shooter, pure shot. Marco, pure shot. Patty Mills, pure shot and playmaker. Derek White, two-way playmaker. I mean, you look at this team, they're excellent. Bertans, best shooter in the NBA. Best sharpshooter in the NBA. This team is better than people are giving them credit for. This team is capable of doing something great. And even if you want to talk about the paint and paint presence, Jakob can score around the rim. At his best, he can score around the rim. He can play defense. He can rebound. He can hustle. He can dive for balls. He's an excellent player. So I don't want to hear much of anyone saying that what the Spurs can and cannot do. Now, this Toronto game, I think it's going to be telling. I think that after a break, it's nice to see what the Spurs are going to do. And honestly, at this point, I've been very patient with our players. But I'll be honest with you, DeMar DeRozan is not impressing me right now. Right now, he's not impressing me. He is an excellent player, and he's shown so many great signs over the season. But I do not want to see I don't want his highlights to only be against Toronto. He's had some great moments. You know, the 360 layup, the dunk on Giannis. You know, he had some great moments. The 2 game winners against Mavericks. That's great. But he's going to have to show up not only in this game, but I want him to show up for the rest of the season. And he's very capable of it. He's capable of playing defense. He's capable of scoring. He's capable of playmaking. He's capable of a lot of things. And I would really appreciate it if the man went for more dunks. Because we ain't seen too many posters by DeMar DeRozan. He needs to attack the paint. I went to the last game, the last game we had against the Memphis Grizzlies. I was at the game. And I guarantee you, there were so many occasions where DeMar DeRozan could have dunked, or he could have attempted to dunk. And I'm not saying attempt, hurt yourself or anything, but no, he really was not giving the ultimate effort. And I would hate to see him give only the ultimate effort when it comes to the Toronto Raptors. You're going to have to show up after Toronto. I'm excited for the game, don't get me wrong, but I'm a little it's like this. And I'm going to end it on this, I promise. I kept saying I'm going to end it, but I'm going to end it on this. The first Toronto game, leading into it, I got nervous because I said I don't want the Spurs to be playing crappy, because it was around the time we were losing by 30 or whatever. I was like, I don't want us to play crappy and then go into this, roll up in this Toronto game and play excellent. But then the Spurs got on a little roll and they started winning and they started playing better. And I'm like, okay, cool, we're ready for Toronto. I dropped my little rap freestyle and everything. And then now I'm at a point now where it's like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want us to go into this Toronto game and not be fully prepared. I don't want us to, have this thing where we're going to play great against Toronto and then afterwards just play like crap. I really hope that this Toronto game is the beginning. And I guess you could say the Memphis Grizzlies is the beginning, but really we're going to go as far as DeMar DeRozan takes us. So let's just hope that this is the beginning of something great and not, the last great game we see from DeMar DeRozan this season. And I'm expecting him to play excellent. I'm expecting the Spurs to play excellent, but I don't want it to end there. I want us to beat teams we should beat, and I want us to play hard regardless. But I'm about to get off. I appreciate you guys, all the guys that's people that stayed. Damn, I was only for 35 minutes, 36 minutes. Whew, ain't nobody gonna be watching this. I will get with you guys later. Like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna try to go ahead and stream the whole thing, stream my reaction while I watch the game live. Until next, just thinking, March Friday, your boy might make some hot wings. But I'll get with you later. Till next.